Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today let's go over another Leetcode hard question in the pandas/database section that I just solved on my own. So again, really happy that I was able to come up with my own solution to this question very easily without any assistance. So let me show you how I did it. This one is pretty straightforward as long as you read the instructions carefully, and it's pretty short. So yep, let's go over it. So this one's called Find Invalid IP Addresses. So they want you to write a solution to find the invalid IP addresses. Basically, you're looking at these IP addresses and you want to rule out anything that has bigger than 255 in an octet, has leading zeros, or has less than, so not exactly 3 dots, because 3 dots means that there's 4 octets, 4 sections, right? So any of those, you want to count those invalid ones, how many times those invalid ones appear. So for example, 2 times, appears 1 time, and appears 2 times. And then you want to sort it by the counts and then by the IP in descending order. So let's go ahead and do that. So let's go ahead and get the IV and enumerate logs IP. So let's go ahead and get the IP, and we want to map that to a integer because we want to count how many if it's invalid. So first of all, we have to determine if it's invalid. So first of all, contains any number greater than 255. This is a string, so let's split it. Let's say now equals v.split by the dot, and that just allows us to iterate over this to make sure that if any one of these is bigger than 255, then we have a problem. In this case, this is. So let's go for n in now. If int of n is bigger than 255, then let's just use a Boolean flag to indicate whether we have any problems at all, whether it's invalid or not. If that's the case, then flag equals to false, then that's already ruled out. So cross that one out. Check if there are leading zeros. So, or n, because n is a string, n dot starts with 0, then also we have a problem. And in any other case, if these 2 checks pass, then if, so v is the string itself, so if v.count of dot is not equal to 3, so less than or equal to 3, because we want 4 sections exactly, it has to be exactly that, there's no less, no more, then flag is false as well. So at the end, if all 3 checks pass, then if flag is still true, or if not flag, because we want invalid ones, so if either one catches, then we can just go ahead and print, we can go ahead and insert this into our dictionary, right? Because we want to count how many bad pairs there are, so we can say dv plus equal to 1. Let's print our dictionary. Okay, so cool. So it looks like we have our answer. So again, as I said, pretty straightforward. And now we just have to sort it by the invalid count and then the IP in descending order. So what I'd like to do is turn this into a list items, so the key value. So that just makes it easier to parse because now we can just sort it by exactly what they say. They want to sort by the invalid count first, so d.sort key equals to lambda equals lambda x, and invalid count is x1. And then x0 is the actual IP, and then we want to do that in descending order. So reverse equals to true. So that should give us the final sort of ordering that we want to populate our result table in. Okay, so now we have this. We can just insert it one by one, top to bottom, right, left to right. So now we can just say return pd.dataframe. So let's just go ahead and return logs with the columns as IP and then invalid count. Have to populate those with data. So logs invalid count never existed. So let's just go ahead and set that to logs log ID to give that column a dummy value. Cool, so now we have to populate it, and we only populate that many IPs as the primary key because that's the key, right? So
They have to be unique, so length of dictionary. Okay, cool. And now we just have to populate it from top to bottom, left to right. So for A and D, let's just say logs. So the IP comes first. IP of the current index, the current cell, so the row and then the cell, the row and then the cell is equal to A of 0, so A1, because well the IP and then the count first and the count after the IP, so logs invalid count of counts is A1, that's the count itself, and then we increment count, right? Fill it from top to bottom as usual. So let's run this. Okay, submit it. And there you go, passes all test cases. Again, really happy that I was able to solve this question on my own without any assistance relatively easily. So coming up with my own solution to this problem, even though it's not the most efficient in terms of runtime, again, I was able to do it on my own very easily. I thought this was very straightforward. So that's it for this video. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for more.